Good afternoon, everybody. Christine Barconi here in our NBC4i streaming center. Works a little bit better if I turn on the microphone the first time around. All right, we're talking about an event that happened early this morning outside the Big Ten headquarters away from Jacksonville, Florida. Why was it important for you to be in Chicago this morning and kind of get your voices out there along with other Ohio State and Big Ten parents?
It's just important as a parent when you see your kids disappointed and not sure for the full reason why they're not playing. So as a parent, we want to have communication, like you said earlier, and try to work on having safe football in the future.
And so you are calling on Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner, to have a conversation with you guys. Have you not heard from him? What's going on with the communication between the commissioner and other members of the Big Ten and parents like you?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to hear from him. It's probably not going to be me. My thing is we want a Zoom meeting with the parents, the president of the parents associations of all the schools, and the ADs and Kevin Warren. So we can just address some concerns we have personally about going forward and how we want to move forward together and have football safely.
I kind of want to play some sound from this morning too, because a lot of people are saying we're in the middle of a pandemic, but you said you completely understand that. So let's listen to some of your speech from this morning.
We understand it's a pandemic. We understand 2020 is like one of the roughest years, since I've been alive. I want to have a moment of silence, 17 seconds, for the 170,000 people that died from the coronavirus. Starting now. Thank you, thank you. All right, with that being said, we do respect the fact that it's a pandemic out here. But the situation with the Big Ten, the lack of transparency is a problem for parents. I know a lot of parents can't be here. It's a Friday, we at work, see all these parents that's out here. They miss work. They had to do plans with stuff at home to be here. So the reason we are here is because we want to have conversation. That's simple. We want to have conversation. We want to play in the fall, but regardless of playing in the fall, we want to have conversation before the spring, before next fall, because we feel like, most of us feel like, with this pandemic, things are happening, but things are not going to change as we see forth. The coronavirus and stuff like that we think it's the new norm, and it might not change. So I want Commissioner Kevin Warren to have a Zoom call with all 14 parents associations, and all of us parents will feed our information through them. I want to have a Zoom call with Kevin Warren, the 14 Big Ten Parents Association presidents, and the ADs to clarify some things. So for instance, for example, just to give him an example so he know what I'm talking about. For example, my son Sean Wade has a possibility to go to the NFL next year. I would like for him to call the NFL and tell them to move the draft and the combine back. Parents have the best interest for the kid in mind, period, point blank. Somebody can say that, that they love them, but you don't love a person as much as a parent does. I'm just a dad, and I just want to spark the match of conversation so we can start. Again, I got to reiterate, we don't have to play in the fall. We want to play in the fall. We want to do everything we can to play in the fall. We don't like the way the decision went down about the presidents and not knowing whether they voted, didn't vote. We don't like that. We feel like our kids wear Big Ten on their shirt, on every jersey. I don't know if it's on mine. Mine might be cheap, but on every jersey, our kids wear Big Ten on it. All right, we represent the Big Ten. It's just not an Ohio thing, and it's just not a good thing to have a kid disappointed over something he can't control. And as a parent, what you try to do is you try to make sure the next time that happens that you do everything you can so he won't have to feel that same.
All right, Randy, so that was most of your speech from this morning. You held up the jersey. You said, our kids represent the Big Ten. We want to have these conversations with the Big Ten. But what I thought was most notable is that you opened with 17 seconds of silence for those families and for those who have lost their lives to the coronavirus. Why was that important for you to do?
That was important to me to do because I don't have anybody I know that has died from the coronavirus. But ever since I put out, my tickets to come up here, a lot of people have reached out to me about their concerns of life And I just want people to know that's not. I respect the fact that this pandemic is very, very serious. I respect the fact that a lot of people have died. I'm not one of the people that say don't wear a mask or anything like that. Um, I just really want people to understand that this has nothing to do with that. You just want to move on safely and have football in the future. You just feel like the loss of transparency during this situation in the fall might affect having football in the future.
Randy, we have your audio, but your picture is frozen right now. So we're going to play some sound from another mom, Candice Wilson. Oh, I got you there back. But you weren't alone. You were with several other Ohio State parents. Who was with you today, and kind of talk about the connection that you guys have as an Ohio State football parent family? I know it's a tight knit group with or without coronavirus.
Luke Farrell's people, Tough Borland, Seven Banks' mom, Garrett Wilson's mom. Hopefully, I ain't leave out anybody. But they was all with us. And the thing about it, what we want people to know is like, we all have different opinions. Some people want to play in the fall worse than other people do because everybody is in different situations with the progression of the kids. So like with me, I'm pretty good. I'm good because Sean got a chance to be a first rounder next year, whether he plays or not.
Mhm.
But a lot of these other parents don't have that. It's not just about going to the NFL, but it's all about the opportunity and all the hard work you put in since you was like 5 years old to get to this point. We just don't want that to be looked over lightly, like it's like not important to these kids.
I think
Uh,
a lot of current NFL players and men who got drafted last year are advocates of that as well. You've seen, former Buckeye Joey Burrow talk about that and how if he wouldn't have had a senior season, I don't think it's an if, it's a he would not have been drafted first, maybe not even in the first round. So it just completely changes the course of your life.
yeah, I think Todd McShay had him as a fifth rounder at the beginning of the season. So it's crazy. So like, if you equate this to having a job, and I told you as a reporter that you couldn't report doing the coronavirus up north because it's too dangerous. The only way you can be a reporter, and being a reporter is your dream, right? So
Yeah.
the only way you can be able to report is down south. But say you're from Columbus and you love Columbus and you've been in Columbus your whole life, like it would change your mindset and thinking because it's the same thing going on with these kids. They don't have an option. They have to wait until everything open up. But all we're trying to do is say we're not saying necessarily let's do it now. Let's get transparency so we can do it safely in the future.
Certainly. Randy, just to maybe talk a little bit more personally, how is your son doing? How is Sean doing? What was it like when he heard the news last week that there would not be a season in the fall?
He was devastated,
Yeah.
but I always teach him, you can only control what you can control. So we were preparing for both, for him leaving or him staying. So like, you can only control what you control. You can't let your emotions get to you. So you got to just keep fighting and keep moving forward, doing the best you can.
Does the timing of a spring season make the difference in whether or not your son is going to concentrate fully on the NFL or play a season at Ohio State, whether the season's in January or if it's in March? I don't know if you guys want to talk about that quite yet.
We're always. I'm on social media about that all the time. He's not playing in the spring, but say if the season started January 1st. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That okay. I'm like, all right, trying to think about that. But they would have to move back the draft and they would have to move back the combine. So I would like to ask Commissioner Kevin Warren, would he talk to the NFL about doing that? He says that he loves the kids so much and that he only thinks about the betterment of the kids. Can he help us out with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he would be a powerful voice in that conversation, knowing how many Big Ten players get drafted into the NFL.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, where do you hope to go from here? Have you heard anything since your rally? What's going on? What are the next steps for you and the Ohio State football parents?
My next thing is I'm hoping that the coaches will be able to speak out about the Zoom call
Hmm.
because it's not that much. If we can get a Zoom call, we can get our information uh, pushed up through our presidents of our parents association, and we can make this happen. I mean, it's not that hard. We have been doing Zoom calls. Shoot, I do the Zoom calls almost like once a day because since the pandemic. So it's not that hard. They're doing Zoom calls anyway. So I would like for somebody that's their job to a coach, AD, or something to speak out about it and maybe push that to happen.
I noticed your mask this morning said fight, which is something that a lot of people noticed that Ryan Day tweeted the very first day. I believe it was last Monday or 2 Mondays ago. That was his tweet. That was his message. This is not over. Let's fight. Is that intentional on your behalf? And how has the coaching staff been?
All day long. I talk to the coach staff all the time. I know that because they work for the Big Ten, they work for Ohio State.
Yeah.
That it's certain things they can and can't say. But as a parent, I got my own job. I can say some things they can't say, and that's part of the fight. Justin Fields did the petition. People have been speaking out on social media, and this was just one step for me and the parents to get that communication started and continue to fight.
From a parent's perspective, the way the Big Ten is treating this right now, how do you think this is hurting Big Ten recruiting in the future? If you were, 4 or 5 years ago and Sean's being recruited and this was all going on, would this make you think twice?
It definitely would because now you know that you don't have to just. It's just not about Ohio State. It's about the Big Ten.
Mhm.
It's you would have never thought something that happened in Rutgers or something that happened in Nebraska or something like that would affect you playing football at Ohio State.
Definitely would. Randy, would you like to add anything else before we get going here? And I want to play some sound from some other parents as well.
Oh no, I'm good. I appreciate you having me. I got like a million people waiting to do calls, so I'm just trying to get out the next steps via social media and via the media, and hopefully somebody can pick this up and try to make this happen.
All right, Randy, thank you so much for talking with us. You're definitely a strong ally and a strong advocate for those young men. So we will be sure to catch up with you soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, like I said, I'm going to play some more sound for you from other parents who were there. Again, like I said, there were about a dozen, 2 dozen parents there from different schools, mostly Ohio State, and I noticed Iowa parents there as well. This is Candice Wilson. She is the mother of Garrett Wilson, sophomore wide receiver from Ohio State, with another perspective on things that are happening right now in the Big Ten.
That you should fight as long as you can because you never know. Hopefully he can come back to the table and figure out a way that we can do this safely. Our guys have been really following the protocol at the school right now at the Ohio State, and they really care about the kids. So we're hoping that he'll look at all the information that's out there and maybe give it another chance.
Are you worried though as a mother that, football's close contact and they're saying, the science are saying this is not a good idea?
Well, I know that they went from having some cases to no cases before this all transpired, so we really feel as though they already have good protocols. So if the doctors can get together and they can continue what they've been doing, that we could be successful with the season. These kids have been working since they were little bitty, and this is what they do, and it's good for them mentally as well as physically. And if cases come up, then they'll handle that accordingly.
Again, that was Candice Wilson, another Ohio State football mom, mother of Garrett Wilson. We will have more on this on NBC4, First at 4, as well as 5 and 6. Jared Smalley will break down everything for you guys. Then, for now, we'll leave the full interview with Randy Wade, father of Sean Wade, up on our website, NBC4i.com. We will see you later. Bye.